Dr. Kethver adjusted the focus on his observation screen and watched the humans below with the same interest a scientist might show when studying insects. For 300 years, his people had been watching Earth from their hidden stations, scattered throughout the solar system. The Zephyrian Empire considered humans to be their most fascinating research project. The alien scientist made notes in his data pad as he observed a human city during what the creatures called rush hour. Thousands of humans moved through their concrete tunnels like ants in a colony. Some drove metal vehicles that spewed toxic gases into their own atmosphere. Others walked quickly while staring at small electronic devices. Dr. Kethver found their behavior both amusing and puzzling. His research team had classified humans as a violent curiosity. The aliens had watched humans create beautiful music in the morning and design weapons of war in the afternoon. They saw humans cry over the death of small animals while simultaneously destroying entire forests. This contradiction fascinated the Zephyrians who lived by logic and order. Far below on Earth, Captain Jake Morrison stood in the command center of Orbital Station Alpha. The space station orbited high above the planet, serving as humanity's first line of defense against any threats from space. Jake had no idea that alien eyes watched his every move. He checked the morning reports with his team, including Communications Officer Lisa Martinez and Tactical Analyst Pete Johnson. Lisa worked at her console, monitoring radio signals from across the solar system. She had noticed some strange patterns in recent weeks but attributed them to solar interference. Pete reviewed patrol schedules for the small fleet of human spacecraft that protected Earth's orbital space. Both officers performed their duties with the dedication that Dr. Kethver had noted as a peculiar human trait. The Zephyrian research files contained detailed behavioral profiles of every human they observed. They had categorized humans as aggressive, emotional, unpredictable, and ultimately harmless due to their primitive technology. The aliens viewed human space exploration as charming but ineffective, like watching children play with toy rockets in a sandbox. Dr. Kethver's superior research Director Vexelin often visited the observation posts to review their progress. The Zephyrians had spent centuries documenting human wars, human art, human love, and human hatred. They created charts and graphs that attempted to explain human behavior through mathematical formulas. Yet despite all their research, humans remained a mystery to them. The aliens found human emotions particularly baffling. They watched humans risk their lives to save strangers. They observed humans give away their possessions to help others. They documented humans who worked their entire lives to plant trees they would never see grow tall. Such behavior made no logical sense to the Zephyrian mind. Meanwhile, on a research facility hidden behind Jupiter's largest moon, Dr. Amy Carter worked late into the night. She served as Earth's leading expert on space phenomena and had been tracking unusual energy readings for months. Her team included physicist Ben Torres and computer specialist Nina Brooks. All three humans worked together to solve what they believed was a natural mystery. Amy stared at the data on her screen, showing energy patterns that didn't match any known natural occurrence. The readings appeared near Saturn's rings, around Jupiter's moons, and in the asteroid belt. The patterns were too regular to be random, but too complex to be explained by current human science. Ben worked at the next station, running calculations on quantum field fluctuations. His computer models suggested that something was creating artificial disturbances in spacetime near several locations in the solar system. Nina processed the raw data, searching for any pattern that might explain the anomalous readings. The irony of the situation was perfect, though neither species realized it yet. While Dr. Kethver and his team studied humanity from their hidden posts, Dr. Amy Carter and her team had begun to study them in return. The observers had become the observed. Though they remained blissfully unaware of this reversal, Dr. Kethver filed his daily report, noting that humans continued to display their characteristic unpredictability. He wrote that they showed remarkable creativity in solving problems but lacked the logical thinking necessary for true advancement. He recommended continued observation to better understand these primitive yet entertaining creatures. Captain Jake Morrison finished his shift aboard Orbital Station Alpha, confident that Earth's defenses were secure. Lisa Martinez powered down her communications array after another routine day of monitoring space traffic. Pete Johnson reviewed the patrol reports one final time before heading to his quarters. None of them suspected that their every action was being recorded and analyzed by an alien civilization that considered itself vastly superior to humanity. The Zephyrians had watched human civilization grow from tribes to cities to spacefaring explorers, always maintaining their scientific detachment and never considering that their subjects might one day become their equals. Dr. Amy Carter saved her work and prepared to leave the research facility. Tomorrow she would continue investigating the mysterious energy patterns that had captured her attention. She had no idea that her curiosity would soon lead to the greatest discovery in human history and change the relationship between two species forever. Ben Torres discovered the truth on a Tuesday morning while drinking his third cup of coffee and staring at quantum field data that made no sense according to everything humans knew about physics. The energy signatures near Saturn's rings weren't random space phenomena as they had first believed. They were exhaust tracers from advanced cloaking technology that someone was using to hide massive objects in space. Within 2 hours of Ben's breakthrough, Dr. Amy Carter had assembled her entire team in the secure conference room of the research facility. Nina Brooks pulled up holographic displays showing the energy patterns they had been tracking for months. The evidence was undeniable once they knew what to look for. Earth was under systematic observation by an intelligence that possessed technology far beyond anything humans had developed. Amy made a decision that would prove crucial to humanity's future. Instead of immediately alerting the world's governments or causing widespread panic, she contacted Captain Jake Morrison directly through secure military channels. She had worked with Jake on previous space defense projects and trusted his judgment. In crisis situations, the meeting took place aboard Orbital Station Alpha in a room shielded from all forms of electronic surveillance. Amy presented her findings to Jake, Communications Officer Lisa Martinez, and Intelligence Officer Carl Stevens, who had been hastily called in when Jake realized the implications of Amy's discovery. The 4 humans sat around a metal table while Amy explained how alien observers had been watching humanity for an unknown length of time. Lisa studied the data with growing amazement and concern. The energy signatures appeared at multiple locations throughout the solar system, suggesting a comprehensive observation network. Carl examined the tactical implications, while Jake focused on determining the appropriate response to this unprecedented situation. The revelation changed everything about how these humans viewed their place in the universe, but their reaction was characteristically human in its unexpectedness. Instead of fear or submission to obviously superior technology, they decided to turn the tables on their watchers. The plan began forming during that first meeting as Jake and his team realized they had a unique opportunity. Pete Johnson was reassigned to what became known as the Counter-Observation Initiative within hours of the discovery. His new mission involved developing methods to monitor their monitors without alerting the aliens to human awareness of their presence. Pete worked with Nina Brooks to create detection equipment that could track the alien observation posts while appearing to be routine scientific instruments. Dr. Kethfer continued his daily observations, completely unaware that his subjects had discovered his presence. The Zephyrian scientist filed routine reports about human behavior patterns, noting their continued focus on space exploration and defensive preparations. He attributed recent changes in human scientific activity to their natural curiosity and competitive nature. Amy's team made additional discoveries as they refined their detection methods. The aliens maintained at least 12 research stations throughout the solar system, each one focused on different aspects of human civilization. Some monitored military activities, while others studied human art, culture, and social development. The scope of the observation project suggested it had been running for centuries. Ben's analysis of the cloaking technology revealed sophisticated energy manipulation that allowed the aliens to remain completely invisible to human senses until now. The breakthrough had come only because of improvements in quantum field detection that the aliens apparently hadn't anticipated. This suggested they might not be monitoring human scientific progress as closely as they monitored other aspects of human behavior. Carl Stevens coordinated with intelligence agencies worldwide to begin discrete investigations into historical anomalies that might represent previous alien contact or observation. The search revealed numerous unexplained phenomena dating back decades that suddenly made sense when viewed as evidence of ongoing alien surveillance. The humans discovered that the aliens weren't just observing for scientific curiosity. Lisa's communications analysis revealed data transmissions leaving the solar system on a regular schedule, suggesting the observers were reporting to a larger authority. Earth wasn't just being studied but was being evaluated according to unknown criteria. Dr. Amy Carter made another crucial discovery when she analyzed the transmission patterns. The alien reports weren't just scientific documentation but appeared to be intelligence assessments similar to military reconnaissance. Humanity wasn't being studied like interesting animals in a zoo but was being evaluated as a potential threat or resource by a larger galactic civilization. This revelation transformed the human response from curiosity to urgent necessity. Jake Morrison coordinated with military leaders worldwide to develop a comprehensive strategy for dealing with their alien observers. The plan they developed was audacious in its simplicity and thoroughly human in its approach to an impossible situation. If the aliens wanted to study human behavior, humanity would give them the most educational experience possible. But instead of revealing their awareness directly, the humans would mount the greatest deception in their species' history. They would pretend to remain unaware while carefully controlling what their observers could see. Pete Johnson established secure communication networks that appeared to be routine military traffic but actually coordinated the global effort to mislead their watchers. Nina Brooks developed software that could subtly influence sensor readings without creating obvious anomalies that might alert the aliens to human counter-surveillance activities. The first phase of what became known as Project Looking Glass began within a week of the initial discovery. Construction projects worldwide started incorporating seemingly impossible engineering solutions that appeared to emerge naturally from human innovation. Scientific research facilities began achieving breakthrough discoveries at an unprecedented rate that suggested rapid technological advancement. Military exercises showcased tactical innovations that seemed to develop spontaneously from human creativity and adaptability. The carefully orchestrated demonstrations were designed to confuse alien assessments while maintaining the appearance of natural human development. Dr. Kethver noticed the changes immediately but attributed them to the unpredictable nature that made humans so fascinating to study. His reports to the Zephyrian Science Council expressed puzzlement at humanity's sudden surge in technological and strategic capability but concluded it was consistent with human behavioral patterns. The stage was set for the greatest lesson in human history, though the alien teachers had no idea they were about to become students in a curriculum designed by the species they had underestimated for centuries. Project Looking Glass transformed from a desperate plan into the most sophisticated deception ever attempted by humanity. Captain Jake Morrison found himself coordinating with military leaders, scientists, and government officials across every continent as they prepared to teach their alien observers a lesson about human nature that would redefine everything the aliens thought they knew. The plan required perfect timing and global cooperation on a scale never before achieved in human history. Amy Carter expanded her scientific team to include behavioral psychologists Dr. Helen Wade and strategic analyst Tom Parker. Helen's expertise in human psychology would help them understand how to present humanity in ways that would challenge every assumption their alien watchers had developed over centuries of observation. Tom Parker brought military strategic thinking to the project, helping design scenarios that would demonstrate human capabilities while maintaining the appearance of natural development. His background in intelligence work proved invaluable as the team crafted elaborate performances that needed to fool observers with technology far superior to anything humans possessed. Lisa Martinez established communication networks that spanned the globe while appearing to be nothing more than routine military and scientific chatter. The real challenge lay in coordinating complex operations across multiple time zones and cultures while maintaining absolute secrecy from the very beings who were watching humanity's every move. The first demonstrations began with construction projects that seemed to defy human engineering capabilities. In major cities worldwide, buildings began rising at impossible speeds, using techniques that appeared to emerge naturally from human innovation. Construction crews worked with precision that suggested breakthrough discoveries in materials science and engineering methods. Pete Johnson worked with technical teams to ensure that every advancement appeared genuine to alien sensors, while actually representing carefully planned theatrical performances. The construction projects used conventional materials and methods, but applied them in ways that created the illusion of revolutionary breakthroughs in human technology. Scientific research facilities began announcing discoveries that pushed the boundaries of human knowledge in multiple fields simultaneously. Medical researchers claimed breakthroughs in treating diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries. Physics laboratories reported advances in energy production and space propulsion that suggested humanity was advancing far more rapidly than Their alien observers had predicted. Dr. Kethver found himself filing reports that challenged everything that Zephyrian Science Council believed about human development patterns. The sudden surge in human technological capabilities seemed to contradict centuries of careful observation and analysis. Yet the evidence was undeniable as human achievements accelerated beyond anything the aliens had witnessed in other species. Nina Brooks coordinated with computer specialists worldwide to create false research data that would appear authentic to alien monitoring systems. The fabricated discoveries needed to be scientifically plausible while representing advances that would concern any galactic civilization. Evaluating humanity as a potential threat or ally, military exercises evolved into demonstrations of tactical innovation that seemed to emerge spontaneously from human creativity and adaptability. Armed forces worldwide began displaying coordination and strategic thinking that suggested dramatic improvements in human military capability without revealing the careful planning behind every maneuver. The psychological aspect of the operation proved as important as the technological demonstrations. Helen Wade worked with teams of actors and military personnel to stage scenarios that would showcase human emotional intelligence and social cooperation. The aliens had always been puzzled by human emotional responses, so the humans decided to use this confusion to their advantage. Communities worldwide began demonstrating levels of cooperation and mutual support that contradicted alien assumptions about human competitive nature. Cities that had struggled with social problems for decades suddenly appeared to solve them through innovative approaches that suggested evolutionary leaps in human social development. Carl Stevens coordinated intelligence operations that created the appearance of breakthrough discoveries in surveillance and counterintelligence capabilities. The goal was to suggest that humanity had developed the ability to detect advanced alien technology without revealing that they had actually accomplished this feat. Tom Parker designed military scenarios that demonstrated human adaptability under pressure while showcasing tactical innovations that appeared to develop naturally from human creative thinking. The exercises needed to impress alien observers while maintaining plausible deniability about human awareness of their watchers. Dr. Kethver's reports grew increasingly concerned as human capabilities seemed to expand in multiple directions simultaneously. The Zephyrian research team struggled to explain how a species they had classified as primitively aggressive could demonstrate such sophisticated strategic thinking and technological innovation. The performance reached new levels of complexity as human settlements began displaying defensive capabilities that seemed to emerge from nowhere. Cities installed what appeared to be advanced shield generators and detection systems using technology that the aliens couldn't identify through their long-range sensors. Agricultural regions demonstrated food production techniques that suggested mastery of biological systems far beyond anything humans had previously achieved. The improvements appeared to solve hunger and environmental problems through innovations that seemed to represent quantum leaps in human understanding of ecological balance. Space-based demonstrations proved most challenging and most impressive to the alien observers. Human spacecraft began displaying navigation and propulsion capabilities that suggested breakthrough discoveries in physics and engineering. The improvements were carefully staged to appear genuine while actually representing conventional technology applied in innovative ways. Communication systems worldwide began operating with efficiency and security that suggested humans had developed encryption and transmission methods beyond anything the aliens had observed. The networks appeared capable of coordinating global activities in real time while maintaining security against advanced surveillance systems. Educational institutions demonstrated teaching methods that seemed to accelerate human learning and development at unprecedented rates. Students appeared to master complex subjects in weeks rather than years, suggesting revolutionary breakthroughs in human cognitive enhancement and knowledge transfer. Research Director Vexelen visited Dr. Kethver's observation post to review the increasingly alarming reports about human development. The Zephyrian leadership struggled to understand how their careful observations could have missed such dramatic changes in human capability and potential. The first phase of Project Looking Glass succeeded beyond human expectations as alien reports reflected growing confusion and concern about humanity's true nature and intentions. The observers who had spent centuries studying humanity as interesting primitives now faced the possibility that they had completely misunderstood the species they were evaluating. Jake Morrison received regular updates from teams worldwide The global deception continued to unfold with precision that impressed even its human architects. The greatest show in human history was just beginning, and the audience had no idea they were watching a carefully scripted performance designed to redefine their understanding of what it meant to be human. 6 months into Project Lookingglass, the human performance had evolved far beyond its original scope as teams worldwide refined their deception with the dedication and creativity that characterized their species. What had started as desperate improvisation had become a masterclass in strategic thinking that impressed even its human architects. Carl Stevens coordinated with intelligence agencies across multiple continents to create technology demonstrations that appeared genuine to the most advanced alien sensors. False research facilities produced breakthrough discoveries in quantum physics, biological engineering, and energy manipulation that seemed to revolutionize human scientific understanding overnight. The fabricated advances required enormous attention to detail, as every discovery needed to appear scientifically sound while representing impossible leaps forward in human knowledge. Teams of scientists worked around the clock to create convincing documentation for technologies that existed only in carefully constructed simulations and staged demonstrations. Dr. Kethver found himself filing reports that read like fantasy even to his scientifically advanced civilization. Human cities appeared to construct themselves using materials that defied known physics. Medical treatments emerged that seemed to cure genetic diseases through methods the aliens couldn't understand. Military technologies appeared that suggested mastery of energy manipulation beyond anything the Zephyrians had observed in other species. The Zephyrian Science Council demanded increasingly detailed reports as human capabilities appeared to expand in directions that challenged everything they believed about technological development. Dr. Kethver's observation team worked frantically to document changes that seemed to occur faster than they could record them. Amy Carter's team made a discovery that transformed Project Lookingglass from an elaborate deception into a desperate gambit for species survival. Deep analysis of alien communication patterns revealed that the Zephyrians weren't just conducting scientific research but were evaluating humanity for potential threats to galactic stability. The alien observers weren't neutral scientists, but scouts for a much larger civilization that maintained order throughout their region of space. Every observation and assessment was building toward a final recommendation about whether humanity should be contacted as potential allies, isolated through quarantine, or eliminated as a dangerous variable in galactic politics. Tom Parker coordinated with strategic analysts worldwide as the implications of this discovery reshaped every aspect of the human response. The performance could no longer focus simply on confusing alien observers but needed to present humanity as too dangerous to threaten while potentially valuable as partners in galactic civilization. Helen Wade worked with teams of psychologists and cultural experts to ensure that demonstrated human capabilities would suggest species characteristics that alien civilizations would want to cultivate rather than eliminate. The challenge lay in appearing sufficiently advanced to command respect while avoiding the appearance of aggressive expansion that might trigger preemptive action. Human settlements began displaying defensive capabilities that seemed to emerge from breakthrough discoveries in shield technology and energy manipulation. Cities installed what appeared to be planetary defense systems using innovations that suggested mastery of physics the aliens couldn't explain through their understanding of human scientific development. The technology demonstrations escalated dramatically as human spacecraft began showing propulsion and navigation capabilities that seemed to violate known laws of physics. Ships appeared capable of instantaneous acceleration and direction changes that suggested breakthrough discoveries in gravitational manipulation and spacetime engineering. Pete Johnson worked with engineering teams to create the illusion of impossible technological advancement while maintaining the appearance of natural human innovation. The demonstrations needed to convince observers with scientific knowledge far superior to anything humans actually possessed. Scientific research facilities announced discoveries that seemed to solve fundamental problems in energy production, environmental restoration, and biological enhancement through methods that appeared to represent quantum leaps in human understanding of natural systems. Lisa Martinez coordinated communication networks that demonstrated global cooperation on a scale that contradicted every alien assumption about human social development. The network suggested that humanity had evolved beyond their competitive nature to achieve planetary unity through advanced social and political innovations. Military exercises showcased tactical capabilities that seemed to emerge from revolutionary breakthroughs in strategy, logistics, and coordination. Armed forces worldwide demonstrated the ability to respond to threats with precision and efficiency that suggested dramatic advances in human military science and organizational capability. Nina Brooks created false research data that supported the appearance of breakthrough discoveries while ensuring that alien monitoring systems would detect evidence of human scientific advancement in multiple fields simultaneously. The fabricated discoveries needed to appear authentic to observers with access to scientific knowledge beyond human understanding. Agricultural and industrial demonstrations suggested that humanity had solved resource scarcity through innovations in production and distribution that seemed to represent mastery of biological and physical systems. The improvements appeared to eliminate poverty and environmental degradation through technological solutions that the aliens couldn't fully comprehend. Dr. Kethver's reports grew increasingly urgent as human development appeared to accelerate beyond anything the Zephyrian civilization had witnessed in other species. The research team struggled to explain how creatures they had observed for centuries could achieve such dramatic advancement without displaying the gradual progression typical of technological development. Educational systems worldwide demonstrated teaching methods that seemed to accelerate human learning and cognitive development at rates that suggested breakthrough discoveries in neurological enhancement and knowledge transfer. Students appeared to master complex subjects with speed that implied fundamental changes in human intellectual capability. Space-based construction projects began creating orbital facilities that seemed to emerge from revolutionary advances in materials science and engineering methods. The installations suggested that humanity was preparing for expansion beyond Earth, using technologies that represented impossible leaps forward in scientific understanding. Research Director Vexelan arrived at Dr. Kethver's primary observation post with additional scientists tasked with verifying the increasingly incredible reports about human development. The Zephyrian leadership demanded independent confirmation of changes that challenged their fundamental assumptions about technological progression and species development. Communication intercepts suggested that human governments had achieved levels of cooperation and coordination that seemed to violate everything the aliens knew about human political behavior. The apparent unity suggested evolutionary changes in human social development that the observers couldn't explain through their centuries of behavioral analysis. Carl Stevens received intelligence reports from teams worldwide, indicating that alien observation activity had increased dramatically as the Zephyrians struggled to understand the changes they were witnessing. The increased attention suggested that humanity's performance was succeeding in capturing alien interest, while creating the confusion necessary for the deception's success. The performance reached critical intensity as human demonstrations began suggesting capabilities that approached or exceeded Zephyrian technological levels in selected areas. The careful balance between impressive advancement and believable development required constant adjustment as the deception evolved to meet changing circumstances and alien responses. Jake Morrison coordinated with leaders worldwide as Project Looking Glass approached the moment when humanity would need to reveal their awareness of alien observation or risk having their deception discovered through increasingly intense scrutiny from confused and concerned alien scientists. The moment of truth arrived when Ben Torres detected encrypted Zephyrian communication bursts requesting immediate military reinforcement from their home civilization. The alien observers had reached a conclusion that both terrified and impressed them. Humanity had somehow undergone an impossible evolutionary transformation and now represented a potential threat to established galactic order. Amy Carter analyzed the intercepted transmissions with growing alarm as the scope of the alien response became clear. The Zephyrian Science Council was preparing to recommend immediate intervention before humanity could develop capabilities that might challenge their civilization's control over their region of space. Jake Morrison faced the most important decision in human history as reports arrived from observation teams worldwide. The alien watchers were preparing to abandon their hidden posts and return home with recommendations that could result in Earth's destruction or subjugation by forces beyond anything humanity could resist. The choice was stark and immediate: continue the deception and risk having it discovered by increasingly suspicious alien observers, or reveal the truth in a way that might convince the aliens that humanity deserved partnership rather than elimination. Jake chose the most characteristically human response possible. He decided to invite the aliens to meet face to face and discuss the situation directly. The invitation would prove that humans had detected their presence while demonstrating the diplomatic approach that had enabled human civilization to survive countless conflicts throughout their history. Lisa Martinez crafted the message that would change everything between the two species. She broadcast simultaneously to all known Zephyrian observation posts using their own communication frequencies and protocols, addressing Dr. Kethfer by name and inviting him to Orbital Station Alpha for what she called a proper introduction between fellow researchers. The invitation was impossible for the aliens to ignore or dismiss as coincidence. Not only did it prove that humans had detected their supposedly undetectable observation network, but it demonstrated technological sophistication that the Zephyrians had never observed in their centuries of study. Dr. Kethfer received the transmission while reviewing reports that suggested human development had accelerated beyond anything his civilization had witnessed in other species. The message appeared on his secure communication system using encryption protocols that humans supposedly couldn't access or understand. The alien scientist faced an impossible choice between fleeing immediately to report this development or accepting the invitation to discover how their primitive subjects had become capable of detecting and communicating with their technologically superior observers. Research Director Vexelen authorized the meeting after urgent consultation with the Zephyrian Science Council. The implications of human awareness demanded immediate investigation, and the invitation suggested that humanity preferred communication over conflict in response to their discovery of alien observation. Dr. Kethfer approached Orbital Station Alpha in a sleek vessel that materialized from empty space as its cloaking systems deactivated. The alien ship represented technology centuries beyond human capability, yet its pilot was coming to meet humans as equals rather than subjects in a research project. The alien scientist stepped aboard the human station with the caution of someone entering unknown territory. Despite his technological advantages, Dr. Kethfer found himself uncertain about the situation for the first time in his centuries of research experience. Amy Carter led the human delegation that greeted their unexpected guest in the station's main conference room. Pete Johnson, Nina Brooks, Carl Stevens, Tom Parker, Helen Wade, and the entire team that had orchestrated Project Lookingglass were present to meet the alien who had been studying them for so long. Amy's greeting was perfectly human in its directness and unexpected humor. She welcomed Dr. Kethfer by name and thanked him for accepting their invitation before adding that they had been looking forward to meeting him, and had much to discuss about research methods and scientific ethics. The Zephyrian scientist realized immediately that everything his civilization believed about humanity had been fundamentally wrong. They hadn't been studying a primitive species but had been observed in return by a civilization's sophistication enough to detect their presence, decode their technology, and maintain a complex deception for months. Lisa Martinez presented Dr. Kethfer with detailed analyses of Zephyrian technology, communication protocols, and observation methods that the human team had developed during their counter-surveillance operation. The depth of human understanding shocked the alien scientist who had considered his people's technology completely beyond human comprehension. Pete Johnson explained how humanity had turned the research project around, learning more about Zephyrian civilization in 6 months than the aliens had learned about humans in 3 centuries of observation. The humans had decoded alien psychology, technology, and even individual behavioral patterns based on observation methods and communication intercepts. Carl Stevens revealed that human intelligence agencies had identified the location of the Zephyrian home system, analyzed their political structure, assessed their military capabilities, and determined their intentions regarding Earth through careful analysis of intercepted communications and technological capabilities. Nina Brooks demonstrated the computer systems that had enabled the human deception, showing how they had created false sensor readings and fabricated technological demonstrations that convinced alien observers, while maintaining the appearance of natural human development. Tom Parker presented a complete strategic analysis of Zephyrian civilization, including their strengths, weaknesses, and likely responses to various human actions. The depth of the analysis revealed that humanity had conducted counterintelligence operations against their observers while appearing to remain unaware of their presence. Helen Wade explained the psychological principles behind the human deception, describing how they had used alien assumptions about human behavior to create false impressions that supported their strategic goals while maintaining believable character development. Dr. Kethver found himself in the unprecedented position of being studied by his former research subjects. The humans had created detailed profiles of individual Zephyrian researchers, analyzed their civilization's decision-making processes, and developed strategic responses to potential alien actions. But the biggest surprise came when Amy Carter explained that humanity didn't want conflict or dominance over their alien observers. Instead, she proposed something that the Zephyrians had never encountered in their centuries of galactic exploration: genuine partnership between equals based on mutual respect and shared goals. The proposal included detailed plans for scientific collaboration, cultural exchange, and joint exploration projects that would benefit both civilizations. Rather than demanding submission or threatening retaliation for centuries of unauthorized observation, humanity offered to share their greatest strength, their adaptability and innovative thinking. Tom Parker presented the strategic framework for human-Zephyrian cooperation, explaining how both species could benefit from combining human creativity with alien technological knowledge. The proposal addressed Zephyrian concerns about galactic stability while offering them access to human problem-solving capabilities. Carl Stevens revealed the ultimate truth that transformed everything. Much of the human technological advancement during Project Lookingglass hadn't been entirely fabricated. The pressure and focus created by the alien threat had actually accelerated genuine human innovation and achievement in multiple fields simultaneously. The intense collaboration required for the global deception had produced real breakthroughs in communication, coordination, and problem-solving that represented authentic human development rather than theatrical performance. Humanity had actually undergone rapid advancement through the simple human trait of rising to meet unprecedented challenges. Dr. Kethver prepared to return to his ship with a report that would revolutionize Zephyrian understanding of intelligence, civilization, and the potential for interspecies cooperation. His recommendation to the Science Council would be unprecedented in their history of galactic exploration and species evaluation. Dr. Kethver returned to his research vessel with more questions than answers, and a report that would challenge everything the Zephyrian Science Council believed about intelligence, civilization, and the nature of technological development. The alien scientist had spent his entire career studying other species but had never encountered anything like humanity's response to discovery. The Zephyrian leadership convened an emergency session when Dr. Kethver's initial report arrived through faster-than-light communication networks. Research Director Vexelen presented the findings to senior scientists and military advisors who struggled to understand how their centuries of observation could have missed such fundamental characteristics of human nature. Amy Carter worked with her expanded team to prepare comprehensive proposals for human-Zephyrian cooperation, while Jake Morrison coordinated with world leaders to establish Earth's first interstellar diplomatic protocols. The opportunity to join a galactic civilization represented everything humanity had dreamed of since first looking at the stars. The proposal package that Dr. Kethver carried back to his civilization included detailed plans for joint research, projects, cultural exchange programs, and collaborative exploration initiatives that would benefit both species. But more importantly, it contained a revolutionary perspective on what constituted advanced civilization. Tom Parker had worked with philosophers and strategists worldwide to articulate humanity's core argument that true intelligence wasn't measured by technological capability alone but by adaptability, creativity, and the ability to find solutions to impossible problems through cooperation and innovation. The human proposal suggested that the Zephyrians had been studying humanity incorrectly from the beginning. Instead of viewing human violence and unpredictability as primitive traits that needed to be overcome, they should have recognized them as advanced survival mechanisms that enabled species success in an uncertain universe. Helen Wade contributed psychological analyses explaining how human emotional responses and social behaviors that seemed chaotic to alien observers actually represented sophisticated adaptive strategies that had enabled humanity to thrive in environments that would challenge more rigidly logical species. Carl Stevens included intelligence assessments demonstrating that human strategic thinking operated on principles that complemented rather than competed with Zephyrian logical approaches. The combination of human intuitive leaps with alien systematic analysis could produce solutions neither species could achieve independently. Nina Brooks provided technical documentation showing how human problem-solving methods could enhance Zephyrian research capabilities by introducing creative approaches that their logical thinking might never consider. The proposal included specific Examples of how human innovation could accelerate alien scientific projects. Pete Johnson contributed military analyses suggesting that human tactical flexibility could strengthen Zephyrian defensive capabilities, while alien technology could provide humans with tools to explore and protect regions of space beyond their current reach. The Zephyrian Science Council spent weeks analyzing the human proposals, while additional observation teams verified the authenticity of human technological capabilities. The verification process revealed that humanity had indeed achieved genuine advances during the months of Project Lookingglass, though many remained beyond current human manufacturing capability. Lisa Martinez established the first official communication channels between Earth and the Zephyrian home system, as both civilizations worked to establish protocols for ongoing diplomatic and scientific exchange. The communication networks required careful design to bridge differences in language, culture, and technological approaches. Dr. Kethver found himself appointed as the first Zephyrian ambassador to humanity, a role that required him to completely reconsider everything he had believed about interspecies relations. His centuries of research experience provided valuable insights into human behavior, but diplomacy required understanding rather than clinical observation. The Zephyrian response arrived 6 months after Dr. Kethver's return home. Research Director Vexilon led a delegation of 12 ships that approached Earth openly rather than maintaining the secrecy that had characterized their previous observation efforts. Jake Morrison became Earth's first interstellar ambassador when he met the Zephyrian delegation aboard a newly constructed space station positioned between Earth and Luna. The facility represented humanity's first attempt at creating neutral territory for interspecies diplomacy and cooperation. Amy Carter led the scientific teams that began immediate collaboration on research projects that combined human creativity with Zephyrian technological knowledge. The first joint experiments produced results that exceeded what either species could have achieved independently, validating the human proposal for cooperative development. The establishment of the first joint human-Zephyrian research facility marked the beginning of a new era in galactic civilization. The station, constructed in Earth's outer solar system, became a testing ground for cooperative approaches to scientific advancement and cultural exchange. Ben Torres worked alongside Zephyrian physicists to develop new approaches to energy manipulation that combined human intuitive leaps with alien systematic analysis. The collaboration produced breakthrough discoveries that neither species could have achieved through their individual research methods. Tom Parker coordinated with Zephyrian strategic planners to develop defense protocols that protected both civilizations while establishing humanity's place in the larger galactic community. The agreements included provisions for human expansion beyond the solar system under Zephyrian guidance and protection. Helen Wade established cultural exchange programs that allowed humans and Zephyrians to study each other's social development and psychological approaches to problem solving. The programs revealed that both species had developed unique solutions to universal challenges of civilization and cooperation. The success of human-Zephyrian cooperation attracted attention from other galactic civilizations who had observed the unprecedented partnership between logical and intuitive species. Several advanced civilizations requested permission to establish diplomatic contact with humanity through Zephyrian intermediaries. Carl Stevens worked with Zephyrian intelligence services to establish security protocols for Earth's integration into galactic civilization while protecting humanity from species that might view human unpredictability as threatening rather than valuable. Nina Brooks led development teams that combined human software innovation with Zephyrian hardware capabilities to create communication and analysis systems that enhance the problem-solving abilities of both species. Pete Johnson coordinated joint human-Zephyrian space exploration missions that combined human adaptability with alien technological reliability to investigate regions of space that had challenged previous exploration efforts. Dr. Kethver published the definitive study of human civilization that became required reading for xenobiologists throughout the Zephyrian Empire. His research demonstrated that intelligence could develop along multiple paths and that diversity of thinking approaches strengthened rather than weakened galactic civilization. The transformation was complete when Lisa Martinez and Pete Johnson found themselves working alongside Zephyrian technicians in the joint research facility. Lisa observed to her human colleague that the aliens had wanted to study humanity to understand what made humans dangerous, but discovered that what made humans dangerous was exactly what made them valuable. The greatest lesson had been learned by both species, that true intelligence wasn't about following predictable patterns or achieving technological superiority, but about constantly redefining what was possible through cooperation, creativity, and the courage to challenge assumptions about the nature of civilization itself. Humanity had taught their would-be teachers that the most advanced trait any species could possess was the ability to surprise themselves and others with solutions that transcended the limitations of conventional thinking. The students had become the teachers, and the teachers had learned that the greatest discoveries came from embracing rather than eliminating the unpredictable elements that made each species unique in the vast community of galactic civilization.